WRBI Batesville, Greensburg, Versailles, Brookville now presents Southeastern Indiana's longest running and most listened to sports show. It's Coach's Corner, broadcasting live from the Coach Raver Corner at Ison's Family Pizza. Listen on 103.9 FM or the WRBI app. And now you can watch the show happen live too at WRBI-TV.com or on our Facebook page. Here is the host of Coach's Corner, Coach Rob LaFerry.
And from the friendly confines of the Raver Corner here at Ison's Family Pizza, we say good evening and welcome to Coach's Corner on this Monday night. Snowflakes are falling, but all is good here inside Ison's. Rob LaFerry with you. We are talking Batesville basketball tonight. We've also got on deck Batesville swimming and Oldenburg Academy boys basketball. As always, though, let's go ahead and start the show with Batesville boys basketball. We have got Bulldog head coach Aaron Garrett joining us. 18-3, Coach, going into the final game of the regular season. Last week, just one game. It was a Friday night affair against Jennings County. 60-52. We had the seniors on last week to talk. Did not get a chance to really talk to you much about the game, but Tom and I had talked during the broadcast. It wasn't going to be a masterpiece in terms of execution, but on a night like that, against an opponent like that, you guys found ways to will your way to a victory.
Yeah, and Jennings County is a solid basketball team. And as I look over the stats, probably the thing I'm most proud of is the .84 points per possession. Because they've got bigs, they've got shooters, they've got slashers, and we still, for the most part, played 84 by 50. And really, really proud of the effort because we were able to stake a lead, then they were able to come back and take the lead from us, and then we were able to push the lead back out and ultimately win by 8. And it took a little bit of everybody. And obviously, as far as statistically, Cameron Holcomb really had a nice night in terms of scoring. 21 points, was 4 of 7 from 3, and overall, and when I looked at the stats, it was surprising because neither team shot it very well, and I think that's the physicality, the effort that was being displayed. So field goal percentage overall, we were just 35%, which typically would not end up being in a win, but we were 15 of 16 from the free throw line, and that really came to be important for us. I did like how we got into then was able to score some paint points against a team that was quite a bit bigger than us, and really thrilled with defensively. And with Mape, James, Skip, Braden Hughes, they really, really battled when we weren't very big. But then we had everybody else have to come in as well. The Schneid, the Camerons, the Lincolns, the Lewis, Winston, Levi, etc. We had to have everybody gain rebound. And it was fun to watch some battles where there were literally 7 to 10 bodies and they're all trying to fight to get the rebound. And the Bulldogs were able to come out with it. And one of the plays that stood out to me the most was it was late game. And we didn't have an offensive possession go our way. I think Braden maybe even missed the field goal attempt, and they start to go the other way. His guy passes it up the floor, and Braden could have just stayed with his guy, right? But that dude just sprints, comes up behind their point guard, is able to push the ball from behind. We get it. Schneider and James go on a 2-on-1 break. Schneid bounces makes a bounce pass to James. And to James County's credit, they recover, and James puts a spin move, and all of a sudden he sees Mape in the dead corner who's sprinted back from getting the steal. Huge 3. And I put on the clips tonight when I showed that. It's always incredible how that ball finds energy, and our bench was up. The guys were playing hard. So that's a sectional opponent, and I'm sure we'll talk about the sectional draw here in a bit, but we got a favorable draw, which guarantees us absolutely nothing, right? If we're able to get through our side of the bracket, we've got, I would think, and Coach Foster I know will scheme there at Franklin County, but they've got a tough go going through both Jennings County and South Dearborn. But this could very well be one of the teams that's on the other side of the bracket waiting on a Saturday night to get to a sectional championship.
The other thing I want to talk about with the Jennings County game was defensively, and this is where that points per possession statistic comes up. You forced Jennings County into 15 turnovers, which is not an easy task against those guys, which, again, you mentioned athletes, bigs. They had just a little bit of everything, but that's the hustle on your guys' part as well as dealing with the physicality.
Yeah, and this is a Jennings County team that has beaten Roncalli, which is a really good school, having a really nice season at Indianapolis. They just 2 nights before us, I went over there and watched them really from start to finish just put the clamps on and really thoroughly defeat Brownstown Central, beat them by 20. So really, really happy with where and going into this game as a coaching staff, how do we approach this game? Because literally we didn't know the draw then. We could have been facing them on a Tuesday night in a week and a half. But I told our team, I told the coaching staff, we're going to pretty much just play like we would need to win, because then we can evaluate what's going to work, what's not going to work. And from there, we get a good taste of their athleticism. We've got some things we're going to have to correct if we do see them again. And the nice thing about how this works is Jacoby Miller from Greensburg, Lewis from Lawrenceburg, right? And then you get to Scout for South Dearborn. You get to Davis for these guys. We can do some things to prepare that would be similar as we approach all those guys. So there's some dynamic scores and guys that can get to the wing. Now for Jennings County, the Elkins kid, number 40, he's a difference maker that no other team in the section really has in terms of just that big presence. I know you noticed this too. He had some where we broke it down in our press. He has some really athletic finishes against us coming in from the weak side and trying to disrupt him. So it was a good basketball team, and ultimately at the end of the day, we'd on Monday when it's senior night, I've just picked some different things up over the years that we've done in terms of Monday. We stopped practice early and had the seniors on one side of half court. We were on their side like I talked about last week, and just let the seniors talk. The floor was theirs. They've earned it. Then Thursday we shared with them a video that my tech skills, along with a very, very, very skilled 8th grade student, helped me put together in terms of surprising them with some pictures of them through the years, some live action video of them, but then their parents pouring into them and affirming them and sharing memories with them. And that was really good until my part came up and the technology didn't work. So I think it was Coach Bowman right away said, the guy that's in front of the camera all the time, right, doesn't work. I don't know what I did wrong. Something with QuickTime and video. I'm like, yeah, I'll do. Yeah. And I think Big Camden said, hey, do it live. I said, that's no problem. Everybody's been this way. So I pulled up my computer, what I'd put together to say, Rob, I didn't even get through the first paragraph. Yeah. I'm like, man, because obviously Lincoln's part of it, but you see those other 3 who I've literally seen grown up. Braden Maple was born just a few days after Lincoln.
Yep.
Much tougher than I thought, and you could see it. Those people that have watched it on social media, I love seeing the emotion from the parents and the affirmations they gave their sons, and it's way bigger than basketball, right? These are 4 individuals that are going to be so awesome. And then we had one more surprise for the guys when they thought it was all over, and they're getting ready to be announced to the starting lineup, and all of a sudden Jenny and I were out there first. We bump Winston out of the way, and then each senior parent did I don't even know what it's called. Whatever the pregame stuff is that these guys do with the handshakes and whatever.
Which, by the way, kudos for nailing yours. By the way, I was a little worried you were not going to connect with Lincoln too much.
Well, and it came together literally at 4:30 that afternoon. So we had the plan in place where he was supposed to show Winston how to do it. But once I got done with that one, I slid back over to the side, and it still didn't dawn on him, I think. But I can still totally see Trenton Lewis. Trenton always just gets a great big grin.
Yeah.
When he realized what was going on, and Rich Fowler got some great pictures on Brush to Palette where just the pure joy. So that part was fun.
Yeah, it was fun watching T-Lou's dad. Ian and Ethan even got PJ to smile. So there was a lot of accomplished there with the senior night stuff, and I got a chance to watch the video. It's really awesome, with the handshakes and everything else. And it's something I feel like at some schools is becoming a lost art senior night. There is schools where you've got bags upon bags of gifts, but with you guys keep it simple. It's more emotional. I involving the parents. I mean, there's still a way for you guys to keep it special and still let them know how much they mean to Batesville basketball.
I appreciate that, and I apologize to groups I had 18 years ago, 16 years ago, 12 years ago. Just as you coach longer and you learn different things from different people, how they do things. But I think we did. I think we celebrated appropriately all the things that these guys have brought to Batesville basketball. And to get a win on top of it and get their 18th win of the season, where I'm not sure anybody expected that out of this group, but it really speaks well to what this group does because they just do their business, go about their business, focus on the process, and do it to the best of their ability, and I'm excited to go into March with them.
All right, we are talking Batesville boys basketball with head coach Aaron Garrett. As Coach mentioned, 18 wins. This is the 7th time since the 08-09 season. You guys have been at 18 wins or more, and now the 6th time since 2010. A chance to go for 19 wins this coming Thursday night, and this is going to be fun. We knew it was going to be a good one because of both you and Shelbyville being in the top 10 in Class 3A. The new poll comes out today, and you guys now, just like that, are tied for number 9 in Class 3A. So, 2 number 9 teams in 3A going at it at Shelbyville on Thursday night to wrap up the regular season. And, Jennings County prepares you for sectional play. You've got another team that can prepare you for a postseason run on Thursday.
Yeah, and we'll attack Shelbyville, and the framing of it will be, what do we need to do against Shelbyville that will translate to a sectional opponent, right? So it's all about the sectional opponent at this point. And even early on with what Shelbyville has back, the success they had last year, arguably probably the best team on our schedule, right? So we know this coming in. Great gymnasium. So I told the guys we're just going to go out there and compete. We're going to practice some things that we'll use in the sectional. And we'll see where it goes from there in terms of the basketball team. But it should be a really fun game because they play a lot like we do. They want to run. They want to press. They're very, very skilled from the perimeter. We have to really – it's going to be a great game for us because can we get out there and stretch our defense but still be locked in on the backside of the defense and close it out with getting rebounding, because all that's going to be important no matter who we play on the road in the sectional on that path. So always like going to Shelbyville. I've got some fond memories there over the years, and it's just it's one of my favorite gyms too. And I think the guys will really enjoy shooting in there.
Yep, and John has done a really good job building up Shelbyville once again to make them where they're at. They're 17-5. They had a 6-game winning streak. They lost this past week to Delta, who's been a very scrappy ball club, 55-51. You look at their offensive numbers throughout the year, pretty similar to you guys. I think you guys have had a little bit more in terms of high scoring, but what really stands out to me for a 3A ball club against their schedule, they're only allowing 49.7 points per game, so that defense is something that you're going to have to navigate through.
Yeah, and they're athletic in it. They're long. They've got some size on the backside of it. And you look at some of their opponents. You mentioned some of the 4A schools. Mount Vernon jumps out to me. I mean, they were playing right with Mount Vernon there earlier in the year. And it'll be a fun one. It's always, you just want to get through that game healthy, competing, and we'll try like crazy to get the 19th win of the season. And it'll be a fun battle to do so.
All right, Coach, let's talk about that sectional draw that came out last night. We will have, by the way, for those watching and listening tonight, a full look at local brackets coming up towards the end of the show. But in Class 3A Sectional 29 at South Dearborn, you pretty much call this the EIAC tournament plus Jennings County. But, this bracket really got itself pretty well shared out. Not very top heavy, not very bottom heavy. You guys are able to draw by into the semifinals. You'll play on Friday night at 6 o'clock against either Greensburg or Lawrenceburg. You look at Lawrenceburg, to me, they're still a dangerous team despite 6-17. And I think Greensburg, even though they lost to South Ripley on Saturday, is starting to gel a little bit. And of course, if it happens to be you guys and Greensburg, we know that rivalry, no matter what, is going to be a good one.
Yeah, you took some really high-tech notes over there, Coach Lefray. That's good.
Thank you.
But there's always argument about seeding tournaments.
My quick time didn't work.
There's always the argument about seeding the tournaments. And this is almost as if you had to seed it based just by record, right? So, and as you said, if it's Batesville, Lawrenceburg, it'll be a battle because the Lawrenceburg kids are not going back down. If it's Batesville, Greensburg, there's always going to be some extra flavor there. And I 100% agree. I saw Greensburg 3 times last week, and they are definitely gelling. They're playing that zone really well. They're overcoming the loss of Bowman, right, who's a big scorer for them, and they're just more connected. Our job will be for them, can we make the pace a certain way and wear them down, be similar to Lawrenceburg in terms of the more possessions, the more opportunity our defense has to maybe create some turnovers. And then the other side of the bracket's going to be – that'd be a fun side of the bracket to watch as well.
Agree.
With Franklin County, they're not going to back down. They had gotten better when we played them there at middle of January. Their big sophomores get more comfortable. They have firepower on the outside. And then you got Jennings County or Franklin County to win that game, and then you got to play the home team on the home floor. Right, with South Dearborn, who's really, really talented. I would say there's no question about the most athletic team in the sectional field. And like you said, it used to be 7 teams. We lose Connersville, Rushville, because then it really was an EIAC sectional outside of just East Central not being involved. But now it's still 5 of us, and you add in a good James County team who came in this thing last year with under 500 record and ended up winning it. Their schedule is definitely their conference schedule, what they play down there in that part of the state really prepares them well for us. So it'd be interesting to see how it goes. Is it going to be a fist fight in the first team that gets into the 50s maybe as a victorious win? Is it going to be a little bit more fluid in terms of how we like to play the game? It's really going to come down to, as I told the guys today, even something as simple as less dribbling, right? As you get into sectional play, championship round after round, you just can't take wasted dribbles. You can't be out there killing grass, as we call it. The ball's got to move. You got to make quick decisions. You got to make defenses pay if they're behind. You got to find out where they're broken. So that's what makes it such a great time of year. And there should be, I'd be surprised if it wasn't just a great atmosphere too, because the James County fans travel. The conference schools are close. They all know all the different players. It'd be a lot of fun.
All right, Coach, we'll go ahead and let you go. I'm sure next Monday night we will break down Sectional 29 even more. We will be at Shelbyville on Thursday night. Coach Taylor and I will have the call, so we will talk to you on Thursday. Good seeing you. Enjoy the week.
Thank you.
All right, that's Batesville boys basketball head coach Aaron Garrett joining us on Coach's Corner. Step aside, take a break, come back with more after this. You're listening to Coach's Corner, watching Coach's Corner from Ison's Family Pizza on the Sports Voice Country 103.9 WRBI, WRBI-TV, and the WRBI app.
Simmer and sear with confidence using a Maytag freestanding electric range with 5 elements, including a 9-inch and 6-inch dual-choice element, variable broil, and warming center. You can knock out mealtime in no time. The steam clean cycle and fingerprint-resistant stainless steel finish makes it easy to keep clean inside and out. Shop Garings today. Garings in Maytag, 316 North Main, Batesville.
When life takes unexpected turns, Moore Law is there to help. Moore Law can help with estate planning, elder law, nursing home planning, criminal defense, family law issues, and civil litigation. They stand behind their clients every step of the way. From protecting loved ones and securing your future to defending your rights, Moore Law's attorneys bring a wealth of knowledge and dedication to every case. Call 812-932-1227. Moore Law, attorneys you can trust.
Back to more Coach's Corner with Rob LaFerry, delivered by Ison's Family Pizza on 103.9 FM. Streaming audio on the WRBI app and with video on our Facebook page and at WRBI-TV.com.
And welcome back to Ison's Family Pizza. We are at the Raver Corner. Rob LaFerry with you. Just wrapped up talking Batesville boys basketball with head coach Aaron Garrett. The 18-3 Bulldogs ranked number 9 in Class 3A will take on Shelbyville in their regular season finale. That coming up on Thursday night. WRBI will have the broadcast. Let's go ahead now and switch from basketball, at least for this segment. We'll get back to it here in just a little bit, but we've got Batesville boys swimming to talk about tonight. Head coach Greg McMullen joining us. And, Coach, last week it was all planned out that you were going to swim on Thursday, have a day off, swim in the finals on Saturday. Mother Nature had other plans, and it wasn't snow in February. It was severe weather and of course, a lot of major weather out towards Bartholomew County, out towards Bloomington and western Indiana. So it becomes a Friday-Saturday affair. So I think my first question right off the bat tonight is, was there a little bit of concern not getting that day off in between and going from Friday into Saturday?
Well, yes. And it's one of those things where, you don't really know what's going to happen, right? So we went in, we were on the bus. We were about ready to get out, and, Mr. Helvey calls me and it's just like, all right, you're not going anywhere. Yeah. So we had 11 of the 12 boys on the bus. And it just was a little bit of chaos. And we ended up calling the YMCA, and we're like, all right, what can we do? Yeah. And they said, bring the boys over. So we got in a little bit early from our normal practice time, and then sent the kids on their way for their, pasta dinner and shaving party, whatever it is that they did after that fact. But it's just one of those things where, you go into it and you just hope that you build the resiliency in the kids, right? And I think that's exactly what they showed, right? We we went in thinking that we would have 11 individual swims. We walked away with 9. We had all 3 relays. We knew that our 200 free relay was going to be on the bubble. We go into that and we're sitting there like, maybe we're going to be in the top 8, but we were seated at number 9, hoping that we could kind of eke out a spot. And, unfortunately, it was just one of those things where we got out-touched in that prelim by, I think it was like 0.06, 0.05, something like that. And so it was just one of those things where it's like, we tried. We tried to get our hand on the wall first. It just didn't happen in that race. It's very disappointing to go into the final and outperform somebody in the A final. But, it happens everywhere. It happened to Lawrenceburg with the girls. It happened to us against Lawrenceburg at the girls. And then to have that happen with us, against, I think it was Columbus North was the one that was a little bit slower than their prelim swim. But, again, we went into that, and it's just like that resiliency that, you try to instill in them, because like we swim every day, right? Monday through Saturday, we are swimming all the time. And so it's not one of those things where you sit there and you're like, well, you don't know how to do it, right? It's just like in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, well, now we're making up a practice on Thursday on the fly, right? And then it's like we already had the day set up for Friday to be a very light, like maybe 800 to 1,000 yards, where it's just refine, right? It's like we've already done the work on Thursday. We're where we need to be for Saturday. Now we just kind of make sure that your muscles recover. And so from that to go, and we didn't get home till borderline 10:15 on Friday night. And so I can only imagine, teams from Rising Sun or, South Dearborn or any of those guys that had a little bit farther to drive. And I'm just like, man, we're not getting home till 10:15. Yeah. Now, we did make a stop at Steak and Shake. So it is one of those things.
That's important.
Yeah, the boys were, very adamant. They're like, we need a milkshake. And I'm like, all right, we'll go to Steak and Shake. We'll get a quick milkshake and, maybe some burgers and fries on the way home. And so that obviously slows us down. But, we're eating on the bus. We're trying to get the kids home as early as possible just to give them a chance to sleep. Now, the better thing of that is, like, I know without a doubt that they went home and slept on Friday night, right? It was not one of those things where it was a question of, okay, Thursday you get home, Friday you go to school. You still might have a little bit of homework or presentation that you're trying to get taken care of before the weekend rolls around. But I know that they got off that bus, they got driven home or rode home, whatever, and they crashed. Yeah. And then to be able to not be anywhere until like really 11 o'clock. We left, I think, quarter till 11 to get back over to Columbus on Saturday. So I knew that they had a good, 11 to 12 hours worth of time to rest and recover. And obviously they did. And this is the same format as the state meet. So I don't know why we do the day in between. Maybe it's just a travel thing. But it's just one of those things where it's okay. We built that resiliency kind of into the day. And Sydney and I did a great job of not panicking in those moments, because sometimes it's just like, okay, it's figure it out, but not get stressed out.
Talking the finals on Saturday, you guys had 12 swims in the Saturday finals, and also I know you made note in your email that you sent out, every Bulldog swimmer recording at least one best time during the meet. So, I mean, no matter what, the season's over, but there was some success that you guys personally ended on after things wrapped up on Saturday.
Absolutely. And for Matthew he was seeded number 4 in the psych sheet. He was seeded number 4 going into finals. He was able to sneak into 3rd place on that 50 freestyle. And I got to give a shout out to Bloomington South as well, because David Kovacs, I'm pretty sure that he actually beat the state record, the state meet record in the 50 free in our sectional. And he took out Ryan Wakamerka, who had that record from Columbus North High School for 25 years. Yeah. And so it's one of those things where, again, our sectional's fast. We know it's fast. Yeah. Matthew, again, to be able to be in that pool, competing and racing and finishing as well as he did. Same thing in the 100 free, where he was able to kind of maintain a good place and be where we expected him to be, and he was where we hoped he would be. Trying to think what else happened here. Parker and Sam being able to do the 100 fly really well, and I think both of them moved up a spot from their original seeding within the psych sheet and within prelims. Ben stayed exactly where he was, but he dropped significant time. I mean, he went from a kid not under 6 minutes this season. His best time was a 5:58 to be able to go a 5:44. I'm pretty sure he's number 11 on our all-time sheet for the 500, and he's probably like between 12 and 13 on the all-time list for, our top times that we've got. So it's like we've got kids that, again, have performed. They have done something remarkable, especially against a stacked top 10 that we even have, right? So for them to be in that situation where they've got that, and I know I didn't note it in the write-up, but Matthew tied my best, right? My best swimmer that I've coached here at Batesville for the top place in the sectional. So Will Johnson was able to get third place in the 100 free. Matthew was able to tie that with a third place finish in that 50 free. And again, he's getting closer and closer to those state cuts. I think it was a 21-4 or something like that this season. And for him to go 22-3, I think. But it's just one of those things where it's like, they put the work in. They know they've got it. And, to be able to have kids that were out sick, I think we talked about this right before EIAC, where it's like we got kids out sick, and then all of a sudden they come back and they do this. It's like, all right, we definitely did something right. And, that early the early taper that we had forced from snow obviously didn't affect the boys whatsoever.
By the way, I saw David Kovac's name again. I'm like, does this guy ever graduate? Does he just
it's Peter Kovacs that actually is swimming.
Okay.
David Kovacs has graduated.
Okay.
I think he graduated last year. But yeah, Peter Kovacs.
I was gonna say that we get to still though the name. I'm like, do you guys ever leave the high school realm at all?
And that kid's a sophomore, right?
Yeah.
Like, so he's got a long way to go. And he's already got a storied career as a sophomore. And I'm just like, man, and he's the number 1 seed right now. So like he's going up against Carmel, who's going for number 12 in a row, I think, for the boys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Taking a look at your relays, all three were in top 10s in their respective final. Your best finish was that 7th place in the A final in the 400 freestyle relay. And again, names you've already talked about with Ben Coons, with Parker Oldham, Sam Richardson, Matthew Lambert, just a really good group. And you saw a ton of growth with all of your relay teams this year.
Absolutely. And it's one of those things where, to be able to say that we had 2 freshmen on our medley relay, we brought Trip Hurdle in, who, he came up to me, and I hope he doesn't mind me sharing the story. He came up to me this week. He's like, Greg, why am I on this relay? He's like, I am not the fastest swimmer to go into this relay. And I'm just like, Trip, it's because I believe in you.
Yeah.
Like, it's because you have been there. You have this experience. You have this ability to show up, right? And Sydney and I talked about it all week prior to submitting this. It's like, this kid just gets it. Yeah. He knows when to show up for his team. And I don't think he had as good of a swim on the prelims. It was still good. It was still his first 27. But I think he hit a 27.4, something like that, on the final. And it's just like that. That right there is why we threw you in this relay. And, we had our reasons. We had our rationale. And it's just like this right here. And, Ben finished that relay so strong with a 23.9. First time under 24 for him. And, Sam or Colin and Parker on that 2 free relay, they did a tremendous job. And again, Colin and Cruz on that medley relay with matching up with Sam and Matthew to kind of wrap that out. And for Sam and Ben and really all of our senior class, they just did a tremendous job. And what I think made it more wholesome for me this year is generally when we go into finals, and the girls kind of fell into this little bit of this trap too, where you just didn't have your team show up for you on that finals day. We had I'm trying to think here. We took 10 of the 12 boys on the bus with us to finals, even though there were only 6 or whatever it was swimming. And so it's one of those things where that team culture has definitely turned around. And it wasn't because the girls didn't want to show up. Like, they just had other commitments, right? So it was one of those things where to be able to get on that bus and, Sydney and I are driving the little mini buses, but it's like to know that it was full, right? And not just the food, but it was full of kids. It was full of smiling faces, and that they got to see something that, maybe past years haven't been able to see. You know, and I'm disappointed that we didn't quite eclipse Milan, but Seth did a great job of winning that breaststroke. They did a great job of outpacing our relays for the most part, and so it's just one of those things where I'm like, comparison is the thief of joy, right? We tell kids that all the time, and I fall prey to that way too much when I leave this sectional. I'm just like, man, like what if I had this, if I could do this, and but it's just like when you really look back on it. They did phenomenal. I could not have asked for a better group of guys to take to that meet and to be able to do that. And, you say that, but then next year you're going to say the same thing where you're excited to have it. And, I'm excited to see what this freshman class brings. Excited to see what summer swim kind of brings to light for us. And, we'll just kind of keep driving forward one day at a time.
Talking Batesville swimming with head coach Greg McMullen. And coach, you just mentioned Seth Thomas from Milan. He is now the third state finalist swimmer for Milan in school history. The other one of the three just happening to be his older brother Dylan, who was a pretty good standout as well. But, Seth Thomas is a winner in an event. Oldenburg, obviously, with Nash King, who's going to go to the state finals in 2 events. And, as we've talked the last couple times, the Bloomingtons, the Columbuses, the East Centrals. I mean, all these big schools.
Well, I don't mean to interrupt you either, but
That's
it's like
fine.
you've got Harrison U from Greensburg. You've got that 200 free relay from Greensburg. And then, even shouting out to Max Mossberger, who put up a fantastic prelims and unfortunately just didn't have, and that could have been that Friday, Saturday. He could have just swam in his own way. Like I was a 100% a mental swimmer. Right. I would show up on Thursday and just, completely toss up a duck on Saturday. So I get it. But we have an amazing group, and I would even throw Caden Sears in there with his 100 breaststroke. There's just so much going on in this pocket of Indiana. But it is just one of those things where, all of these small schools have a lot to be to be very proud of. And it's the same thing with South Dearborn's diving program. Yeah. They have had a great class that has kind of gone into regionals and state even with, I think it was Cheek maybe? No, somebody that qualified for state last year.
Yep.
But and he was a great kid. He was funny. Yeah. I'll tell you that. He was a just walking joke machine on the pool deck. He was great last year.
So now as we're talking about that in a great segue, and thank you for picking up because that was the direction I was going to go with that. So you timed that perfectly in there. So interruption forgiven. But when we talk now about the off season and going into spring, you're going to have some people still in the pool, but really things amp up in the summer when especially our area gets going with those summer swim programs.
Yeah, absolutely. And Milan is going to go until probably mid to late March for the divisionals and all of that. And I know East Central, South Dearborn, all those guys will do the same thing. But for us, we'll kind of get geared back up around Memorial Day. We'll run through the week before July 4th. We haven't quite gotten all that fleshed out yet, so I usually get through this, and then I tell my board president, give me 1 week off, and then we can start talking about summer swim. But it's one of those things where we're still trying to grow it. We're still trying to figure it out. We do take advantage of that somewhat long course pool, if you would call it that, with the Memorial Pool, and we're gonna do some things a little bit differently for the high school kids too. We're gonna try to get a little bit of an off season and limited contact period weight program in their hands. So that way we can try to do a little bit more prehabbing, try to make sure that shoulders and hips and knees are all taken care of, and then when we get back to the water in June, we actually have a well-established program for them already. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to transition that into a little bit more of that, off-season programming, and then finally get back into our in-season programming for the season when we get there to October.
And when we got all that figured out, definitely want you back on to talk about that, because I would like to talk to you during some warm weather for a change and not snowflakes and blizzards and everything else. But, Coach, it was a heck of a winter, not just for the boys but for the girls as well. I know there was some uncertainties at times, but I think this crew really showed up for you in a big way. So a definite successful season. I've enjoyed talking Batesville swimming with you. And like I said, we'll try and talk later this spring once that summer swim program starts to develop.
Perfect. Thank you very much for having me on. I really enjoyed my time.
Absolutely. That's Batesville swim coach Greg McMullen joining us. We step aside, take a break, come back with Oldenburg Academy boys basketball and head coach Michael Higdon. You are listening and watching to Coach's Corner, delivered by Ison's Family Pizza on the Sports Voice Country, 103.9 WRBI, WRBI-TV, and the WRBI app.
When it comes to you and your family's health, finding a primary care provider you can trust makes all the difference. At Margaret Mary Health, our providers aren't just here for you when you're sick. They're dedicated to being your long-term partners in health. If you're looking for a medical provider to help keep your family well, give us a call or visit us online. Our primary care providers are accepting new patients in Batesville, Brookville, Osgood, and Milan. Margaret Mary Health, generations of care.
Ison's Family Pizza is looking to add a few new faces to our team. Cecil here. The positions open include shift manager, full and part-time driver, and back of the house. Applications are available at the front counter. Resumes can be sent to isonsfamilypizza@yahoo.com. We are trying to fill shift manager, part-time driver, and back of the house. Apply to work at Batesville's Best Pizza today. Ison's Family Pizza, 117 East George Street, downtown Batesville.
Coach's Corner with Rob LaFerry continues. Watch us live on WRBI-TV.com or on our Facebook page, and hear us live on the WRBI app and 103.9 FM. WRBI.
Coach's Corner, delivered by Ison's Family Pizza here on this Monday night. Batesville boys basketball has wrapped up. Batesville swimming has wrapped up. Let's go down the road and get back to the hardwood. We're talking Oldenburg Academy boys basketball tonight with head coach Michael Higdon. Oldenburg coming in to this week with a 9-11 overall record. Coach, 2 regular season games left to go. We'll talk about those later, but let's first talk about a very good home win on February 20th on Friday night, 45-42. Senior night for the Twisters, a great 3-point win against Rushville.
Yeah, we played tough. Rushville's always tough. They're always going to guard you. They're going to work the ball around. We got off to a pretty good start, hit some threes early, and then we kind of did a little boxing one on their shooter, and we got off to, I think, like a 13-2 lead, and then they kind of figured it out. We had to adjust, and then we went man and just had to tough it out, and we had some good possessions there at the end of the game, and we were able to pull it out.
Typically, a team against Rushville and against head coach Kerry Brown is not going to appreciate or handle very well their ways of making things ugly and low scoring. But I feel like low scoring typically is an MO of Oldenburg basketball, so it kind of plays in for you guys. But one thing I did want to bring up tonight, going into this week, you guys are allowing 56 points per game. So for you guys just to give up 42 on Friday was a big improvement for your defense.
Yeah, we've had we've had some games where, and we talked about it today. It's like we have some games where we show up and we look like we can compete with just about anybody in 1A, and then we have some games like the Morristown game or South Decatur game where it's just like I don't know what happened. So those kind of skew that a little bit, but traditionally we've tried to focus on the defensive end, and these guys. And we've had some injuries. Justin Dietz has been out. He started for us. He's been out for quite a while. He's back now. That gives us a little strength inside. But defensively, the guys have really started to lock down and kind of figure out. And they have different roles than they did last year as defenders. And I think we're finally starting to find the right way to deploy them defensively.
And I think when you take a look at your schedule and you mention, there's just been some ups and downs, some games you look and think, things are going in the right direction. Other games, maybe you're feeling like you're taking a step backwards. But, for me, when I look at your schedule and I look at your 9 wins, the Rushville game obviously stands out. I thought the 8-point win a couple weeks ago against Union County was really good, but you even go back to January 31st. If you want a true hint of just how good Oldenburg can be, a 12-point win against a Waldron team that's given a lot of team fits this year.
Yeah. The Waldron win, that was a big win. We don't know that I don't think we trailed that game at all. The guys came out, they were ready to go, and they pounced on Waldron, and We had a good defensive game plan. I mean, when these guys are focused defensively on a game plan, they can do a pretty good job.
Let's talk about going back to the Rushville game, not necessarily the game itself, but, it being senior night for you guys. And, I've talked with David Disborough about this and with a lot of these smaller schools, and I even go back to when I was covering Shaw basketball. When you recognize seniors at a small 1A program, you're not just recognizing a basketball player, you're recognizing someone who has been in clubs and organizations. They are involved in the community. So when you're honoring them for contributions to a lot of different groups and people.
Yeah, our two seniors, Jack Freeland and Adam Dennis. I mean, Adam, he's a phenomenal runner. He's a good cross-country runner. Like, he's made it to the regional every year in cross-country. But then he's also, part of the choir and and helps out with the orchestra. And he's just a very involved kid. And then, Jack Freeland, he's played tennis. He played basketball for us all 4 years. And, Jack, I don't know that I've ever, out of all my years of coaching any sport, ever had a kid that got as better or improved as much as he has in 4 years. It's pretty incredible.
And even away from being a coach, serving in the role that you do during the daytime for Oldenburg Academy, how special is it for you to have student athletes where I feel like it doesn't matter the sport? I mean, there is never a worry that in your programs that, that there is a bad kid. They all represent the school so well. Yeah.
I mean, people always ask, even if, we don't have a winning record or something, like, well, you still enjoying it? And it's like, yeah, I mean, the kids are great. The one thing that I've noticed about Oldenburg compared to like maybe some other schools I've been at, the kids really don't have egos. They don't care who scores the points or gets the rebounds. They just like, they just like being on the same team. They like hanging out. They like, just trying to win. And they're just all good kids. I've never had anybody give me attitude. I've never, if you get on a kid, they just take it, and it's fun to be with them.
And so you got a couple more regular season games to enjoy your boys basketball program. We'll talk about the postseason here in just a little bit, but this is going to be still a busy week for you guys. You've got tomorrow night you're on the road, Thursday night you are on the road, and two really, for me, completely different teams, even though record-wise they're pretty similar. Let's start out with Tuesday night on the road at Southwestern Shelby. That's a 1A opponent that's actually going to be over in a different sectional, so it's not a sectional foe, but nonetheless a 1A program where you're wanting to play well against them at their place.
Yeah, it's their senior night too, I think. They got they got a kid he's hit, he's had 2 games, one where he's hit 12 threes, and then he had another game where he hit like 7 threes or something like that. So we got to focus on him, and just get some pressure on Southwestern, and you can turn them over a little bit. If we focus defensively, we should be able to take care of business. And then obviously Lawrenceburg, we've played them really close. Actually, we've been leading at halftime the last 2 years against them. And then, a lot of times their physicality kind of takes over a little bit, and we get in foul trouble. But we've been, tough lately, and we've been a lot more physical than we have been, and hopefully we can figure out a way to get over that hump on Thursday.
Yeah, and the other thing with Lawrenceburg is, especially going and playing at their place, a physical group, they've got some athletes, a little bit of height, so there's things there that, especially against a team like that, a 3A program at that's a good prep heading in the next week.
Yeah, we always try to challenge ourselves, and we play 5 3A schools throughout the year. We play schools that are a lot bigger than we are, and I think the guys understand. We'd rather try to challenge ourselves than play somebody that is just an easy win. I think the guys appreciate that, and they know it's going to make them tougher for come sectional time. And Lawrenceburg always kind of gives us a wake up call to how physical it's going to be, and we've handled it pretty well.
Talking Oldenburg Academy boys basketball with head coach Michael Higdon. And, Coach, it was just a couple years ago that you entered the postseason with a record that was under 500 and came back to take that Class A sectional. So, certainly you can't be overlooked come postseason time. So as you guys start to wrap up on the regular season, let's take a look at your sectional bracket. You're going to be playing over at Milan, so not too bad of a drive for Class A sectional 60. And, you look at this field, and we'll talk about your matchup specifically here in just a second, but you know that the everyday fan is looking at an 8-team field, and all they see is Hauser at 20-2. There's no question they're a heavy favorite, but I always feel like this is a sectional where just about anything can happen, and there's a couple sneaky ball clubs in that field.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough sectional. Trinity Lutheran, they've got a couple of juniors that are averaging about 20 apiece. Obviously Milan's got Norman and really averaging about 20 apiece. Then you got Hauser they're just so balanced, and they're long and they're fast. They're well coached and they have a high basketball IQ. And then, obviously you got Jacksonville who, with them you can't focus on the record. You just got to, we played them to 1-point game. The Gresham kid can really attack the basket. He can really figure out some ways to score. And Jacksonville, always come tournament time, they're, locked and loaded, ready to go and be physical. And I think our guys are up for the challenge. A lot of these, especially like Adam Weber, or point guard, he was on that sectional championship team as a freshman. We've got some guys that have some sectional tournament experience, and I think, hopefully at the end of the day that'll help them, not have the moment be too big. And I think we'll come out ready to play and be physical. And
you've got a Wednesday night opening round matchup with Jacksonville. That'll be a 6 p.m. tip-off. You're the first game on Wednesday night. You already mentioned January 30th, 55-54. You can possibly argue that weekend was probably your biggest of the year, and that Waldron win that we talked about was one night after. So, I think you said it best. You look at Jacksonville, just 4 wins on the year. But it's a team I feel like is still way better than the 4-17 record. And, of course, you got Scott Smith on the sideline. It's just going to be a classic type of sectional game where I think that your fan base will come out, theirs will come out. That's just going to be a fun night of basketball to be a part of.
Yeah. If you go to Harrell and you look at the strength schedule, Jacksonville's got one of the better ones in our area. They play a lot of tough teams. And, like I said, that playing those tough teams always helps you come tournament time. It's everybody kind of knows your sets. Everybody knows what you want to do. Everybody knows the personnel. It's just about who's going to be tougher and who's going to execute, because everybody's going to try to muck everything up. And, you just got to find a way, whether it's, you just got to win ugly sometimes.
All right, Coach, we'll go ahead and let you go. 9-11 are the Twisters, but a chance to get back to 500 by the end of the week. Best of luck on the road this week, and a chance to talk to you next week come sectional time over at Milan.
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right, that's Oldenburg Academy boys basketball head coach Michael Higdon. We step aside and take a break. When we come back, we're going to be looking at all local boys basketball sectional brackets. The pairings released last night, so that is to come as a part of Coach's Corner, delivered by Ison's Family Pizza on the Sports Voice Country 103.9 WRBI, WRBI-TV, and the WRBI app.
Hi, this is Jamie Scripture at Whitewater Motors in Greensburg. If you want a pre-owned vehicle without the runaround, come see Whitewater Motors in Greensburg or Milan. We keep a rotating mix of cars, trucks, and SUVs and help you line up financing that fits. Start with photos, prices, and easy online tools at whitewatergreensburg.com and swing by for a test drive. Whitewater Motors makes it easy to drive home happy. Come see why Whitewater Motors is the most trusted name in the car business.
Hey football fans, while Ivy Tech Community College doesn't have a football team, what it does have is your play to a great future. Earn a short-term certificate to quickly get into a high-wage, high-demand career. Earn your associate degree in a wide variety of programs for a more affordable transfer to a bachelor's degree. Classes are offered in person and online at the Lawrenceburg and Batesville locations. For more information, email r11express@ivytech.edu.
Coach's Corner with Rob LaFerry continues. Watch us live on WRBI-TV.com or on our Facebook page, and hear us live on the WRBI app and 103.9 FM WRBI.
Coach's Corner on this Monday, February 23rd, delivered by our friends at Ison's Family Pizza. Our in-person guests have wrapped up for tonight. A big thank you to Batesville boys basketball head coach Aaron Garrett, Batesville swim coach Greg McMullen, and just recently joining us, the head coach of Oldenburg Academy boys basketball, that being Michael Higdon. We've got girls basketball state finals coming up this weekend, and then after this weekend, it's all about boys basketball when it comes to the hardwood. The pairings for the IHSA boys basketball state tournament released last night in downtown Indianapolis, and with that, if you have not got a chance to read or hear about the pairings yet, let's take a look at the local pairings for our coverage area. We will start in Class A, Sectional 59. This one will be at Tri High School. North Decatur coming in as the defending champions of this 8-team field. Action begins on Tuesday night. Ball game number 1 at 6 o'clock. We'll see Waldron, 14-7 on the year, take on 5-14 Southwestern Shelby. That'll be followed up by what should be a pretty good opening round matchup at 7:30. The only ranked team in Sectional 59, the Yellow Jackets of Morristown, right number 14 in Class A. 16-5, they will take on the host school Tri, coming into this week with a record of 12-9. Bottom half of the bracket, opening round games. These will be on Wednesday night at Tri, 6 o'clock, game number 1. 8-11 Knightstown will take on 8-13 Edinburgh. And just like the girls a few weeks ago, we get the Civil War battle, 7:30 Wednesday night in the opening round. South Decatur 14-6 will take on North Decatur at 11-12. North Decatur trying to repeat as sectional champions and give head coach P.J. Metz his 3rd sectional title during his tenure. Again, that is Class A, Sectional 59 over at Tri. Now, what's really cool here this season is that the sectional champion at Tri will take on the sectional champion of Sectional 60 at Milan in the one-game regional championship 1 weekend later. Class A Sectional 60 at Milan. This, too, an 8-team field. It begins on Tuesday night at 6 o'clock as Trinity Lutheran, 13-8, will take on Shaw Memorial, 8-13. That'll be followed by a 7:30 matchup. Milan, the host school, 10-10 going into this week, will be taking on Caruthersville at 8-13. Speaking of Milan, congratulations to Micah Norman this past weekend. He is now number 4 on the Ripley County all-time scoring list. Wednesday night, opening round games, 6 o'clock. Jacksonville, 4-17, taking on Oldenburg Academy at 9-11. That'll be followed by a 7:30 game between Rising Sun, 7-15, against Hauser. Hauser coming in at 20-2. They are ranked number 3 in Class A. They are the defending sectional and regional champions in the class. Again, Class A Sectional 60 over at Milan High School next week. Let's now jump ship. Let's bump up a class and go to Class 2A Sectional 45 at Southwestern Hanover. South Ripley, they are the defending champion, and the Raiders get a bye into the semifinal round. The Raiders 17-5 going into this week. They will meet the winner of the Tuesday night opening round game at 7 o'clock between Brown County, 7-15, and Southwestern Hanover, who is 12-10. The first semifinal on Friday night, 6 o'clock. We'll see Austin at 12-8 take on the Switzerland County Pacers, coming in with a record of 2-19. The Raiders are favored in Class 2A Sectional 45 at Southwestern, but the Rebels would be a tough matchup in the semifinal round. The winner at Class 2A Sectional 45 will face off against the winner of Class 2A Sectional 48. Only one team in Sectional 48 with a winning record, that being Evansville Mater Dei, who is 12-8, defending regional champion Forest Park, coming in with a record of 9-13. Now let's look at Class 3A Sectional 29 at South Dearborn. We've already talked about this one tonight. It is pretty much an all EIAC affair minus the Jennings County Panthers. Tuesday night, game number 1 at 6 o'clock over at South Dearborn. We'll see Lawrenceburg 6-17 take on the Greensburg Pirates at 10-13. The winner of that game will face 18-3 Batesville in semifinal number 1 on Friday night. That one tipping off at 6 o'clock. Bottom half of the bracket, opening round game number 2 on Tuesday. Jennings County 10-12 will take on Franklin County 7-13. The winner of that game goes to 7:30 on Friday night for semifinal number 2 to take on the host school South Dearborn 15-5. Batesville coming in ranked number 9 this week in Class 3A, but Jennings County is the defending sectional champion at 29. And if you emerge in 2026 as the winner at Class 3A Sectional 29, you will go to the regional to take on the winner of Sectional 30 at Madison, a loaded sectional field highlighted by the number 1 ranked team in Class 3A, the Dragons of Silver Creek. Silver Creek also ranked number 2 in the single class poll this week. They are 24-1 on the season, but also in that bracket, number 14 Brownstown Central 13-6, Cordon Central at 16-6, and Charlestown at 15-7. Our final local bracket, Class 4A Sectional 14 at Columbus North. This is a 5-team field, and the East Central Trojans will play in the opening round game on Tuesday night. 7 o'clock, they will take on Franklin Community. Trojans entering this week 9-13. Franklin is at 10-11. The winner of that game will go to the Friday night semifinal round and play semifinal number 2 at 7:30 against the sectional favorite, that being Whiteland, 17-5. Semifinal number 1 on Friday at 6 o'clock. We'll see Columbus North at 11-10 take on Columbus East, 7-13. Whiteland, by the way, the defending sectional champion in 14. This year's champion will advance to the regional to play the winner of Sectional 13 at Martinsville, highlighted by number 7 ranked Terre Haute North, who is 20-3. Also in the field, Bloomington South at 17-5, Bloomington North at 13-6. If you would like a look at the complete pairings for the entire state of Indiana, look no further than WRBIRadio.com. And come next Monday on Coach's Corner, we will bring to you our broadcast schedule for sectional week in southeastern Indiana. So there is our local boys basketball sectional pairings. And with that, we'll step aside, take our final time out tonight, come back with some final words on Coach's Corner, delivered by Ison's Family Pizza on the Sports Voice Country, 103.9 WRBI, WRBI-TV, and the WRBI app.
We don't sell you cars, we help you buy them.
Fleetwood Chevrolet at 950 North Michigan Avenue in Greensburg invites you to visit them. They're here to help you with your next new or pre-owned vehicle purchase, as well as all your service and parts needs. They're the home of Greensburg's only drive-in service lane and free oil changes for life with the purchase of a new vehicle. Give them an opportunity to earn your business at Fleetwood Chevrolet.
We don't sell you cars, we help you buy them.
When looking for the highest standard of HVAC service and care, turn to Hurt & Elko, your local Lennox Premier dealer. Hurt & Elko and their Premier dealer status means you're certain to be working with a company who has the highest level of training, professionalism, and customer satisfaction. For a limited time, they're offering up to $1,900 in rebates on a brand new Lennox system or finance with low monthly payments. Call Hurt & Elko today at 812-934-4646 or visit them online at hurt-elko.com to learn more. Conditions apply. See dealer for details.
It's Coach's Corner with Rob LaFerry, delivered by Ison's Family Pizza. Listen on 103.9 FM and the WRBI app, and watch on our Facebook page or at WRBI-TV.com.
Back one final time on Coach's Corner, delivered by Ison's Family Pizza. Once again, I want to say a big thank you to our guests tonight, Aaron Garrett with Batesville Boys Basketball, Greg McMullen with Batesville Swimming, and Michael Higdon with Oldenburg Academy Boys Basketball. Coming up next week, stay tuned for our guest list. Certainly going to try and be pretty basketball heavy, especially considering boys sectional action beginning next week. As for this week on WRBI, we've got a mix of just about everything from NBA basketball to high school basketball to Cincinnati Reds spring training. Our coverage begins tomorrow night, 6:30 airtime, 7 o'clock tip-off for the Indiana Pacers. They will be at home at Gainbridge Fieldhouse to take on the Philadelphia 76ers. As of now, we've got Wednesday night off, and then Thursday, come back with boys high school basketball, Batesville at Shelbyville, the regular season finale for the Bulldogs, and both teams entering Thursday night ranked number 9 in Class 3A. Right around 7:15 airtime, 7:30 tip-off for the Bulldogs and the Golden Bears. And then high school basketball for the regular season for us wraps up on Friday night, 7:15 airtime, 7:30 tip-off. That'll be a matchup in Versailles, a rivalry showdown. Jacksonville at South Ripley. South Ripley, with a win over the Eagles, would clinch the outright ORVC conference title. And then this weekend, we've got Reds baseball for you on Saturday, 2:55 airtime on the Reds radio network. Spring training for the Reds as they will take on the Milwaukee Brewers. We'll have the Reds again beginning at 2:50 on Sunday as the Reds will play the Athletics. And then on Sunday in progress, once Reds baseball is up and going for the day, we'll take you out to Indiana Pacer basketball back at Gainbridge Fieldhouse to take on the Memphis Grizzlies. So Sunday is a double dip, Reds and Athletics, followed by in progress, the Pacers and the Grizzlies. A big thank you to our guest tonight. A big thank you, as always, to Ison's Family Pizza for allowing us to serve up another episode of Coach's Corner for you here today. And, of course, I can't do this without my guy back in studio, that being Brent Lee and my on-site engineer, Annie Nunley. So on behalf of our guests, on behalf of Brent, on behalf of Annie, and on behalf of Ison's Family Pizza, I'm Rob LaFerry saying so long, and we will huddle up together again next Monday night for Coach's Corner on the Sports Voice Country, 103.9 WRBI, WRBI-TV, and the WRBI app.
Listen Monday nights at 6 for Coach's Corner with Rob LaFerry, live from Ison's Family Pizza. Come check out the show in person or listen on 103.9 FM or the WRBI app. And now you can also watch the show happen live at WRBI-TV.com or on our Facebook page. From Southeastern Indiana's local sports voice, WRBI Batesville, Greensburg, Brookville, Versailles.